Today we have a video from PolyMatter about how college broke the labor market. Joining today is Dean Dollarminer, Millennial Mike, and Boomer Bob. Let's go.
69,320. That's the number of students currently enrolled at the University of Central Florida. It's also more than the total number of news analysts, reporters, and journalists in the entire United States. It's more than the number of chiropractors and nearly 50% more than the number of optometrists. Each year, UCF awards no fewer than 18,000 degrees over the course of a 2-day, 26-hour graduation ceremony.
The video has just started and my mind is already blown. This PolyMatter channel knows how to start a video. No time wasted and out of the gate with a rocket launcher. That's one single university. They're cramming in more people into that space than a Ticketmaster promoter. It takes them 26 hours just to get through the graduation ceremony. Are they handing out degrees or getting autographs at Comic-Con?
Okay, but why do universities keep accepting more students when there's literally no space left? Like, I paid thousands in tuition just to fight for a seat in a lecture hall that looks like a stadium concert? At this point, I should be holding up a sign that says, "We'll trade snacks for a chair." And don't even get me started on the parking situation. By the time I find a spot, the semester is already over. Did I mention that I'm also charged for a parking pass? It's like paying for a candy bar at the vending machine, pushing the button, and getting a dust bunny.
Back in my day, college wasn't this overpriced, overcrowded circus. It was a place where you can actually learn something. We didn't have fancy Wi-Fi, TikTok distractions, or Google searches. Just a pencil, a notebook, and a terrifying professor who didn't care about your mental health days. And don't even get me started on tuition. Now it costs as much as a house. But half these kids can't even read a clock unless it's digital.
Look, I hear you. Yes, the university is a little crowded. But have you considered that learning to struggle builds character? Sure, there are 500 students crammed into a lecture hall meant for 200, but think of it as networking under extreme survival conditions. And yes, parking is a nightmare. But hey, walking from a distant lot just means you're getting a bonus fitness program. Who needs a gym membership when you can have tuition-induced cardio?
It offers 240 unique programs, is spread out across 276 buildings, and employs over 13,000 people. But it wasn't always this big. In fact, this is all quite recent. In the year 2000, it awarded a mere 7,000 degrees. Then, in just 10 short years, enrollment swelled by almost 70%. And it wasn't alone. In the decade leading up to the Great Recession, attendance across the nation soared to unprecedented highs. Arizona State in Phoenix now has 79,000 students, with another 66,000 online. Rutgers in New Jersey, 67,000. This growth came at a cost. More students, for instance, typically means larger classes. Much larger classes. At UCF, as many as 1,200 people. Like many large public schools, its student-to-faculty ratio is extraordinarily high, 30-1.
This is unbelievable, but I guess these students are being provided a service. They are getting the most thorough cleaning of their bank accounts, or at least their parents' bank accounts. At least they are learning the value of money, learning that the university is putting a high value on their money. Imagine having 1,200 people in a class. There are small towns with that many people. Sorry, I'm running late to Chemistryville. Does anyone have the solution?
These classes are so big, I won't be surprised if they don't start charging for VIP passes just to talk to the teacher. They are so massively overcrowded that I feel like I'm attending a TED Talk instead of a lecture. Like, I'm sitting in the nosebleeds of this 500-person auditorium, squinting at a professor who looks like a pixelated NPC, just hoping I'm taking notes on the right subject. At this point, they should just hand me binoculars and a stadium seat number, because I didn't sign up for college Coachella.
Back in my day, classrooms had a reasonable number of students, not these stadium-sized lecture halls where the professor needs a microphone just to be heard. We actually sat in the front row, took real notes, and if you didn't show up, the professor knew your name. Not like today, where you're just student number 472 in a sea of overpriced laptops. And as far as participation, half these kids are too busy scrolling their dang phones to even pretend they're paying attention. Their tuition money might as well be going to Pokemon cards.
I like the way you think, Mike. VIP passes for time with the professor. That's the kind of innovation that makes education great. What kind of educators would we be if we didn't make an effort to accommodate the people who want a quality education? Some would say the kind of people running the universities for generations. Well, smart people have to admit when they're wrong. Yes, it does happen from time to time. And we've seen the error of our ways. Instead of being exclusive, we can be slightly less exclusive.
And the effects soon spilled over into the labor market. The basic problem looks like this. At least 37% of US workers hold a 4-year degree. Yet, only about 32% of jobs require one. The predictable result is that new college grads can't find the work they studied for. A year after graduating, 52 out of 100 are underemployed, and nearly all will remain that way. Over the next 9 years, just 7 of those 52 will find jobs that make use of their education. Inundated with applications, many entry-level positions now call for years of experience, pushing these educated Americans into low-paid service work. More college grads today are employed as cashiers than mechanical engineers.
Those are sobering statistics. If the university is a beacon of light to college hopefuls, the job market is a black hole that absorbs it into utter darkness. Much like the objects falling between the seats of my car. Where do they go? But a graduating student can still get ahead. A head of lettuce is about all they can afford. But at least there's plenty of work left online. The circus has eased up on the requirements for the tightrope walk.
So let me get this straight. I spent 4 years drowning in student loans, writing 20-page essays, and surviving on instant ramen just to be told I need 2 to 5 years of experience for an entry-level job? Like, sir, the only experience I have is crying in the library at 2 a.m. and perfecting the art of pretending I understand Microsoft Excel. At this point, my degree is just a really expensive wall decoration, while I master the fine art of asking customers if they want a receipt.
Back in my day, we didn't whine about job hunting. We just walked into a place, shook a manager's hand, and boom, employed. None of this upload your resume to 15 different portals nonsense. Our resume was our firm handshake and the fact that we showed up on time. Maybe if you spent less time making TikToks about the struggle and more time knocking on doors, you wouldn't be fun employed with a degree in medieval poetry.
A tale is but half told when only one person tells it. From the saga of Grettir the Strong, written in medieval Iceland, see such wisdom gained from a well-rounded education. Sure, it doesn't necessarily make your resume pop to that slushy dispensing position, but think about how interesting you'll be to those wide-eyed 10-year-olds with a hunkering for a lime burst mixed with a dash of blueberry dream. While yes, some may gather in a crowd while pointing and mocking the egghead weird person, but think of the inner pride of knowing that you have achieved a more noble, intellectual destination.
Meanwhile, most jobs, about 52%, are what we would call middle skill, meaning they require some specialized skills or training, but not a bachelor's. These are your electricians, plumbers, carpenters, and construction workers, and we don't have nearly enough of them. Even six-figure, often unionized jobs like crane operator, detective, delivery driver, and court reporter remain unfilled. In any normal market, this problem would quickly resolve itself. As word got out, the supply of college students would fall and the supply of electricians would rise until both matched demand. But that hasn't happened. Sure, college enrollment fell during the pandemic, but these young adults aren't dropping out to become radiologic technicians, carpenters, or plumbers. In the words of a Harvard economist, the market is, quote, consistently failing to clear. In other words, the labor market is broken.
Okay, so I have a degree. I can analyze 18th century literature, and I can write a perfectly formatted MLA citation. But ask me how to do my taxes, change a tire, or buy a house? Absolutely not. Like, why did no one teach me how to exist as an adult? I can tell you the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, but I'm out here Googling how to boil an egg like my life depends on it. I can pass a 4-hour exam on theoretical physics, but if I need to change a light switch, I'm staring at it like it's a bomb that will explode if I cut the red wire.
You kids don't want to work trade jobs anymore. Oh no, you all want to be influencers and work from home in your pajamas. Back in my day, we picked up a hammer, got our hands dirty, and built actual things, not just a personal brand and a collection of meaningless hashtags. Meanwhile, you're out here rejecting good money in the trades just so you can sit in a coffee shop staring at a laptop, grinding. Buddy, the only grinding I respect is a welder on a piece of steel. Meanwhile, with AI taking over, instead, you'll be grinding coffee.
Friends, think about what shape we would be in if we didn't have engineers to design the bridges to be built, architects to create the buildings, scientists to discover medical breakthroughs, electrical engineers to invent new technologies. I get it. Not everyone will be the next Albert Einstein or even rise to the top. But we need the education system. Sure, maybe some of the programs aren't the most practical. Perhaps a degree in puppet arts or bagpiping might not make you the most employable. But we provide the knowledge and let you make the decision, which, wouldn't you agree, is a very practical skill?
Now, the parents and grandparents of these dropouts have a theory, and you can probably guess what it is. Kids these days are just too lazy. They're entitled. They refuse to do the hard work of a mechanic or machinist. But the data tells a different story. Americans haven't always been so obsessed with college.
There's no doubt going to college is pushed hard by society. We see it in advertisements, news media, and especially movies and television. Characters in these shows are waiting on pins and needles for an acceptance letter from their chosen school. Why don't we feel this way about applying for mortgages and car loans? Yay! I get to be in debt for the majority of my life. But at least we have something to show for the trouble that wouldn't make a drink coaster. Well, we're going to leave it there for today, but the link to the original video is in the description if you want to check it out. So what do you think? Are universities giving out too many degrees? Is it worth the money? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, check out this video about how boomer parents are flying to mock their children. And that also has Millennial Mike and Boomer Bob. I'll see you in the next video.